Hello everybody, welcome back to another beginner's guide to. This time we're looking at PALKIA VSTAR. I've titled this deck Palkia that hates fun because I played against this at a cup last week and it destroyed me because of one card that's in this list. So let's get through it, shall we? Our main attackers are Palkia V into V-Star. Subspace Swell, 60 plus damage, 2 water energy. This attack does 20 more damage for each bench Pokemon, both yours and your opponent's, so you're hitting for a maximum of 260. It also has the V-Star power ability Star Portal. During your turn, you may attach up to 3 water energy cards from your discard pile to your water Pokemon any way you like. You can't use more than 1 V-Star power in a game. Very good, very powerful. It can be used to power up itself, its other Palkia V-Stars, or maybe even Radiant Greninja. Radiant Greninja has the ability Concealed Cards. You must discard an energy card from your hand in order to use this ability, which during your turn you may draw 2 cards. And the attack we might be powering up, Moonlight Shuriken, 2 water energy, 1 colorless. Discard 2 energy from this Pokemon. This attack does 90 damage to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. Very nice and very helpful. On top of that, we also have Chien-Pao, which is a great secondary / tertiary attacker. The main thing we've got it for is the ability Shivery Chill. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon is in the active spot, you may search your deck for up to 2 basic NG cards, reveal them, put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. Alternatively, you can use Hail Blade, 60x, 2 water energy. You may discard any amount of water energy from your Pokemon. This attack does 60 damage for each card you've discarded it in this way. I've seen people, including my partner, use Hail Blade to do 300 damage and take a surprise knockout out of nowhere before. It's very, very fun to watch. It doesn't sound like a whole lot, but you can, if you've got 2 or 3 energy already on a Palkia or whatever, wherever it is, then you Star Portal 2 more into the Chien-Pao, you suddenly hit it for like 240 to 300 damage. It's kind of ridiculous. Nobody really expects Chien-Pao to be an attacker in this deck, but it absolutely is. It's why I say secondary / tertiary. As far as support is concerned, we have Bibarel Search Engine, ability Industrious Incisors. Once during your turn, you may draw cards until you have 5 in hand. Still one of my absolute favourites. Lumineon for the ability Luminous Sign. When you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench during your turn, you may search your deck for a supporter card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck. It also has the attack, which is relevant always in a water deck. Aqua Return, 120 damage, 1 water, 2 colourless. Shuffle this Pokemon and all attached cards into your deck. So theoretically, you could use this Pokemon, play it down, grab a supporter, power it up with Star Portal, take a knockout of Aqua Return, send it back into the deck, and then reuse it later on. So it's a very good card to be able to cycle around. And an interesting inclusion, Spiritomb. For the ability Fettered in Misfortune. Basic Pokemon V in play. Both yours and your opponents have no abilities. So don't think you can play your own Lumineon if you've got this down. That will come back to bite you. But the reason this card is the reason I lost to a Palkia deck in my winning in on a cup the other week, because I could not use Lumineon to go find Professor Burnett. I was absolutely stuck, and I was just like constantly getting like messed around with Ionos and things like that, and I could never get the combination together to get rid of Archetypes. It sucked. But it's a really good inclusion in this deck. As far as items are concerned, we are running the typical 4 battle VIP pass. You can only use this card during your first turn. Search your deck for up to 2 basic Pokemon, put them onto your bench, then shuffle your deck. We have 4 cross switchers. You must play 2 cross switcher cards at once. This effect works 1 time for 2 cards. Switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with their active Pokemon. If you do, switch your active Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. As previously mentioned, it is basically a switch and a boss's orders in 2 cards being played at the same time. But it's not your supporter, so it is a very good combination. We have 1 energy search your deck for a basic energy card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck, because you'll be surprised how many times you actually just need to go find a water energy. 2 escape rope, each player switches their active Pokemon, one of their bench Pokemon, your opponent switches first. 1 Hisuian Heavy Ball, look at your face down prize cards, you may reveal a basic Pokemon you find in there, put it into your hand, put this Hisuian Heavy Ball in its place as a face down prize card, then shuffle your face down prize cards. 1 Lost Vacuum, you can only use this card if you put another card from your hand into the Lost Zone. Choose a Pokemon tool attached to any Pokemon or any stadium in play and put it in the Lost Zone. 3 Nest Balls, search your deck for a basic Pokemon, put it onto your bench, then shuffle your deck. 3 Switches, switch your active Pokemon, one of your bench Pokemon. 4 Ultra Balls, you can use this card only if you discard 2 other cards from your hand, search your deck for a Pokemon, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck. Stadiums, we're running 3 Lost Cities. Whenever a Pokemon, either yours or your opponent's, is knocked out, put that Pokemon in the Lost Zone instead of the discard pile. You'd be surprised how many decks are completely ruined by that. Charizard takes an L to that. Chien-Pao can. Mew can. God of War can. It's such a good stadium to have. And honestly, there's not many other stadiums you'd maybe want to run in this deck, other than maybe Temple of Sinnoh. 2 Boss's Orders, switching one of your opponent's bench Pokemon to the active spot. This deck is very control where Pokemon are at all times heavy. 2 Iono, each player shuffles their hand and puts it onto the bottom of their deck. If either player puts any card on the bottom of their deck in this way, each player draws a card for each of their remaining prize cards. 4 Iridus, search your deck for a water Pokemon and an item card, reveal them, put them into your hand, and then shuffle your deck. Melanie, attach a water energy card from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon V. If you do, draw 3 cards. Important to note, it is Pokemon V only, and we're running 9 water energy. So it's a very fun deck. It is very simple as well, in a way, because you are pretty much exclusively attacking with Palkia, and bear in mind, it does have a limit of 260 damage at most, and you don't always have control over that. There's no Echoing Horn in this deck, so you can't really refill their bench. So you do have to bear in mind your damage will vary on Palkia, but Chien-Pao is a great secondary attacker. Lumineon's there, and Greninja are there, also as good attackers. There's not too much I would consider swapping around in this deck. I think it's a really, really good deck, honestly. Like I said, I think it's a very simple deck for maybe a newer player, or a player that just wants to play like a more relaxed deck is probably the way to think about it. Like I said, it's not hitting for huge numbers, and the big issue it has right now is Miraidon is very big in the format, but if you can get ahead on prize cards, you can kind of beat them to the race. It's going to be difficult, but you can do it. It is possible. So that's Palkia, or Palkia that hates fun. Great inclusion of the Spiritomb. I love the search engine of Bibarel, and Lumineon is a great secondary attacker into utility Pokemon. Absolutely brilliant. If you enjoyed this episode of A Beginner's Guide to, do let me know in the comments. I will cover some more decks soon in both this and my new series, Dexplained. Please do check that out as well. If there's anything you'd like me to cover, do comment it below and I will have a look at it ASAP. And all my social media links are in the description. Until the next one, guys, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, do consider liking and subscribing. I'll see you in the next one. See ya!